Anti-racism means to me probably that you understand that racism is a thing and it's a big thing in society, and you're doing actively trying to break down those racism, racial inequalities, everything from the roots. You're not just saying it, you're not just sharing posts on social media, you're actually actively doing something about it, making sure that your actions speak your words.
Generally, I believe it means a complete and utter refusal to not just, never being racist, because that's just a standard to me, but never letting racism go unchallenged. If your friends are making racist jokes, or, anyone around you kind of is exhibiting those views, if you just ignore that and be like, yeah, that's bad, but you don't do anything about it, I don't believe that's anti-racism. I believe anti-racism is challenging it, no matter how socially uncomfortable it is.
See, when I was growing up, because of the fact of Chinese privilege in Singapore, you kind of get the sense of like, oh, I can just say this, I don't. And I think anti-racism comes with the realization that when you say these things, when you do these things, when you become part of the system that allows these things, it's understanding that what you're actually doing is you're actually hurting a whole group of people.
So many people say, oh yeah, they're not racist, but are they actually, they may not be not racist, but are they anti-racist in terms of, do they understand the trauma people have gone through? Do they understand racism, the root of racism? Do they understand institutional racism, structural racism? Do they understand the importance of actively doing things instead of just not just saying things, showing actions on terms of means? Are they improving and trying to break down their racism, which is the difference between not being racist and being anti-racist, I would say.
To me, allyship is kind of like anti-racism, so it's standing against negative factors that affect people of color. So allyship in terms of racism would be standing with people who are victims of racism, I would say, or maybe survivors of racism is a better word to say.
The word allyship to me means to be there for somebody no matter who they are, because I understand that I have privileges that other people don't have.
You can be a good ally. I'm not sure if I know how to answer that question, but to me it's to support people that fight against racism, even if you're not actively fighting against racism yourself, which you should be doing as an ally. You should support people that are doing that and make space for them and kind of acknowledge the toll that it can take on someone.
But I think with allyship, it's very much ingraining yourself into spaces where we really need that support. I think everyone just needs to help in any way that they individually can. Not everyone has the ability to spread, financially or whatever it may be. But I think if it's something sharing in a way that I think you can. So if you're a person with a large platform, sharing on your page, allowing other people to be able to donate if they're in that position. Even hosting events where 100% of the proceeds go to that specific community. I think everyone just needs to help in their specific way.
As a white person, in whatever job you have, in whatever role you have, whatever constituency you're in, to then try and make change for those black and brown neighbours and friends and family members that you have. Because it's vitally important. Everyone needs to work together on this. You cannot call yourself an ally without doing anything. Sure, you may try not to say anything, or any microaggressions towards black and brown people, for example, or you might try and work on your own anti-racism as much as you can, which is great, but that doesn't really change anything if you then don't use that and change something else.
Allyship is learning that nobody has the right to speak on behalf of someone else, and I think the first and most important step of allyship is understanding that we need to give a space, we need to create a space for the people who have gone through these struggles, and that's the only way we're going to learn how to change them.
I think just passing the mic, that's a massive thing I'm really on. I think a lot of people, they will educate themselves, which is really good, but then they'll think they can speak for the black community, and it's just no, you need to educate yourself. But if you know you're in a position where that job or that position or whatever needs to go to a black person, or just that speaking needs to go to a black person, pass it on, because it's not for you to talk about, it's not your lived experience. And I would say 3, I think, just be an open book, be always ready to, and that might be the same as one, but yeah, just keep on learning and remember it's not our as in black people's responsibility to fix racism because we didn't create it, and just make sure that you're constantly putting in the work to change.